Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Rommel Deocaris, and I am the conference chair for the ITRC 5. And what I have here right now is Ms. Joan Ternio of the University of Santo Tomas. Thank you for joining us, Joan.
Thank you, sir, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon as well. Okay, so let's start the ball rolling. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you, sir? How
Well,
are you?
I'm quite fine. I'm bored. I'm very very bored because of this ECQ. Okay, so it seems that we're all ready. I'll start with. I have 10 questions for you. I hope.
Okay.
By the way, thank you for gracing us with your time and effort here. In behalf of UNP, IST department, welcome to the ITRC 5 interview. So Ms. Joanne
Thank you,
here
sir.
is one of our representatives for the International Research Conference 5 to be held on June 15. So good luck with the Q&A with that. So this will be served as a practice for you. Okay,
Yes.
uh, Ms. Ternio, what is the title of your research?
Okay, so the title of our paper, so it's quite long, so be prepared for this. It's Applying Vulnerability Assessment and Penetration Testing, or VAPT, and Network Enhancement on the Network Infrastructure of Journey Tech Inc.
What is it again? No, just joking. Just joking. Okay, sure. It's quite a long title. I think,
Yes.
hey, every good capstone project deserves, I guess, a long title to go with it. Okay. Um, for the record, and in order to represent some of your colleagues with you, could you please tell the audience the educational background of your friends and your co-proponents who did your research?
Yeah, I actually like to mention their names. So my co-authors are Catrice Mora, Kit Cadiente, Rafael Castro, and Mr. Elia Banjica. And all of us researchers are graduates of the BS Information Technology program of the University of Santo Tomas.
Okay. Ghost, eh?
Ghost that.
Goes there. Okay, okay. Too bad for the UAAP. We don't have the USP for today. For I think
Yes.
for this year. Okay. Tell me, Joan. Every research started with something. It came from somewhere. All
Yes.
research, all capstones. So could you please tell us what what brought about this research? Aside from the fact that I know that it's an academic requirement, but
Yeah.
having your title with you, how did you arrive with this idea or this title?
Yes. Well, actually, the three of us in the group were actually co-interns of a company. So part of our curriculum is having to go through internship. And when we decided to form a group together, the three of us and the other one, which was our friend also, when we decided to group together for our capsule project, we started brainstorming some ideas of what could be our project and what the title could be. And then we tried to go back to the previous projects of the previous batch. So we were going through the list, and we noticed that most of them, if not all, were really heavily related to the network part of the network and security track. So it was more of network implementation, network enhancement. So it really didn't involve much of the security aspect of our track. Uh, so we decided that maybe we could try and do a capstone project that would be heavily related to security, information security, cybersecurity, and of course network security. So actually, one of the requirements for us to do the capstone project for our course was to find a client, find a company or an organization that would allow us to work with them, work with their actual network, and implement a capstone project that would benefit them. And out of all the potential clients that we talked with, Journey Tech Incorporated was actually the only one who suggested for us to do a project related to security or cybersecurity because they wanted to assess their current security posture and be able to protect their network from future threats and exploits. And that's how we came to an agreement to do this project for them.
Okay, I guess that You really had something going on during the development or conception of your capstone project. Okay, that sounds very very good. You know, I could actually relate to the things that you have done, and I'm quite curious, and I wanted to know what were your challenges when you were already implementing this. You know that capstone project is all about development and implementation. So, what were the challenges that you have experienced, your group experienced personally, psychologically, whatever? So, could you please share the audience or to our future researchers what is what have you experienced? So, if there is something wrong, I think they would you could advise them. So, anything.
Well, I guess one of the biggest struggles that we had actually was with the panel was deciding on how we were actually going to implement this project. So, as I said, our title was Vulnerability Assessment and Penetration Testing, so VAPT for short. And we were debating on whether or not we should implement this on the live network, or maybe we should do a simulated version of the network. So ultimately, we decided, of course, with the help of the suggestions of our panel and of course our advisor, we decided to proceed with a replicated network. So decided to
Replicated.
replicate. Yeah, so we decided to do it virtually on a virtual environment. So again, after deciding that, implementation came, and the technical issues that we had were really um, during the time that we were replicating the company servers to our simulated environment, because I think that took the most time and effort to do. And aside from the replication phase, I think also when we were doing the penetration tests, more of the technical side, from the technical side of the project, more of the struggles were really from installing the tools and implementing the tools that we used. But to be honest with you, sir, if I were to choose what was the hardest part
Yes,
um, of everything that we did, was actually trying to look for a client.
that's the
It's
hardest part.
hard for me because it's hard to meet a company that would allow students, like we were students, to actually do a capstone project for them, especially when it involves us implementing something that would directly affect their organization's network, their actual network. So I think it also took us a lot of time before we met Journey Tech. And yeah, it was a struggle to just find a client that would agree for us to do a project for them.
Oh, actually, that's a very good site that you mentioned. I guess we could address each and every school, administrators of each every school having BSIT programs to actually uh, learn from your experience that
Mhm.
students taking capstone project, maybe probably the administrators could take action and do next steps in order for these future capstone students not to experience what you actually went through. So I guess
Yeah.
that's a message for every BSIT colleges out there in nationwide that hey,
Mhm.
Miss Joan Ternio said this. Probably we could do something about this in the future, so they will not have a hard time experiencing something like that. Okay, so
Yeah.
um, okay, uh, can we go now dive deep to the essence of your research? Here's the $1 million question:
Mhm.
how does your research actually work? So tell me something about what happened during the development. During the implementation phase.
Yes. Just to give you a bit more of a background, the objective of the project is to develop and implement a vulnerability management process for the company. And the methodology that we used actually was the VAPT workflow. So this was what we did first. To avoid any possible damages and downtime to the company's live network, again, we decided to replicate the client's network into a virtual environment. So once the replication process was finished, again, of course, we had the client check it first if they were satisfied with it and if was really, replicated well. We then moved on to the vulnerability or detection phase. So this is where our tool, the tool that we have came in. So it's a vulnerability assessment tool. I don't know if you're familiar or the viewers would be familiar, but it's called OpenVAS. So it's the tool that we use to do or perform vulnerability scanning on the replicated network. So again, everything that we did was in the simulated network, and we scanned each and every one of the servers and the firewall device that we replicated. So moving on, we then proceeded to the next phase, which was the information analysis and planning phase. Now, this is where the report generation comes through. So after the vulnerability scanning, we generated reports so that we have like the document. We have the document where we can see all the vulnerabilities that were detected by the tool, and as well as their label in terms of severity level. So we could already see if they were labeled as high, medium, low, depending on their criticality level. So again, after seeing all the vulnerabilities listed and sorting them out, we moved on to the attack and penetration testing phase. So which was a bit tricky, but the purpose of this is to find more security weaknesses that the attackers can use to gain access into the network. So based on the vulnerabilities that we found, we performed pen testing, and then after that, the researchers moved on to the next phases, which were actually reporting and the remediation phases. So this is the final leg of the project, wherein for remediation, we implemented the remediation strategies and solutions for the vulnerabilities that we found, and as a method to verify if the remediation had a past positive impact, we made another run through of the vulnerability assessment. So we did another vulnerability scan on the remediated network already. So um, the results were positive, that we significantly reduced the number of vulnerabilities listed. And I guess that's this whole summary
That's
of the project.
okay. Just a side question. Side question. Is
Yeah.
this different? The way I interpret your entire research or capstone, rather, you have systematized the basic fundamental process of ethical hacking.
Yes, actually.
Actually,
It was one of our core ideas
you
creating.
automated ethical hacking. The way I look at it,
Mhm.
in a very non-humanitarian, or yeah, sorry, my mind is going on. It's more on or you've automated ethical hacking. Actually, you've pinpointed vulnerabilities of the
Yes.
networks.
Yes.
Okay, now I've understood what I have read on your paper.
Yes.
Quite a very good capstone project. Quite it's for from in based from my level of competency, I can say that it's quite a very competent capstone project. I think you really deserve your graduation. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Joan Ternio here is actually a fresh graduate. Correct me if I'm wrong. Graduated
Yes.
already.
Yes.
Yes, just what? Couple, when was it? When was your graduation?
um
Supposed to be your virtual graduation.
no, actually,
Oh,
we were
sorry.
official.
I sorry to offend you. Have I offended
No,
you?
no, no,
Okay,
no,
okay,
no, no,
okay,
no. Just to clear things up, we were supposed to be a part of the 2019 class of 2019,
okay.
but yeah, so some things happened. Actually, most of it because of this capstone project. But we officially graduated this last February.
February.
So yeah.
Okay, so okay. Congratulations, class of
Thank you.
2020,
19.
2019,
2019 still.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just a
2019.
bit late, but still part of the
Hey,
class of
better late than
2019.
never.
Yes.
Better late than never. Okay.
They say save the best for last.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. So the best. Okay, okay. That's a very good. That's a very good benchmark for your self-esteem. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, okay. So moving on with all of what we've learned so far on your capstone, how do you think your capstone now is beneficial to society?
Well, sir, we know that data and information has become not only just a resource for us, it's becoming more of a necessity already for us to complete our work and our daily tasks. And um, with the rise of hacking attempts and cyber attacks, irrespective of what organization you are or what industry you're in, I think that we think that there has become a need for a process to continuously find our network's weaknesses and vulnerabilities and be able to remediate those so that our data and information stays protected and won't be compromised. So we wrote this paper actually hoping that whoever reads this, may it be someone who is very familiar with IT or not. Whoever reads this will become educated or even more knowledgeable on the importance of information security, especially in today's society when business processes, every transaction is going digital.
Okay. I can see that you have already really mastered your capstone project. Okay. Uh, okay. Do you think, tell me about your target beneficiaries? I mean, exactly the people who will be the frontline people who will really benefit from your work.
Well, to be honest, we did it for the benefit of our client, which was Journey Tech Inc. And it was really, the project was tailor fit to their needs. But, I think anyone can definitely use our paper, especially organizations and companies, so that they could know why such processes like these would benefit them. And also, this paper can serve as a basis or a foundation for when they decide to implement their own VAPT strategy. And I do hope that it could also become a reference for them, when implementing or developing a similar process. And again, regardless of organization or industry type, I think it can be very useful for them.
Okay. Side in benefit of for your benefactor, for the company that you're working, I think they deserve a little bit of exposure in all of this. Just a side
Mm-mm.
question, Miss Joanne, could you please tell me about the company Genitech? Am I right?
Journey Tech.
Genitech. Could you please tell me about the
Yeah.
company that give you the opportunity to do the capstone project?
Yeah, they're based in Parañaque City. So it's quite far from our, main campus. So we had to travel to Parañaque, during when we were implementing this capstone project. But anyways, they are actually a logistics company, Journey Tech Inc.
Oh,
And yeah,
logistics. Okay.
yeah.
So really, they
So they
really need
focus,
your capstone really to secure
yeah.
most of their process model. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I won't take much of your time anymore. I think we already got most of what we need to expose to the people who will want to do research. Any final words from you, your experiences on probably what will you advise to future researchers, to your uh, students who will be taking capstone projects, and to the people in the IT industry and the education as well?
You know, Actually, sir, if there's anything I'd like to say to researchers, I actually hope that more students and researchers would be interested in making papers on information security, to be honest, because it is definitely relevant today. And it is something that I really wish more people would be educated about. And overall, I just want to say that I hope that these kinds of research, not only ours, but the others as well, would be able to reach more people so that more can be empowered with knowledge on technology and its related industries or topics. And I just really want to give a huge shout out and show my appreciation to the committee. Sir, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
considering our paper and letting us be a part of this conference. And I would also like to mention UST, especially the IT department, for letting us conduct this research. I really do hope that more events like this can happen, so opportunities can be given to more students to showcase their papers as well.
Okay, rest assured that University of Asia and the Pacific Information Science and Technology Department will be always be conducting this research conference every year. Please tell
Yes.
that to your friends in UST.
Yes.
We're also in connection with Jerry Padua, your school director, your of
Yes.
the IT. What's the Department of Computing Sciences and
The Institute of
Institute of
Information and
Computing, yeah,
Communication.
and Computing Sciences, where we'll be
Yes.
always in touch. Okay, thank you very much, Miss Joan Ternio, for you of University of Santo
Thank
Tomas.
you.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving us some of your time, your effort, for explaining. I'm sure that our researchers out there will be watching this, will be more than have learned something and a lot from your capstone project. So, in behalf of IST Department of University of Asia and the Pacific, thank you very much, Mr. New, for joining us. And we hope to see you again, your same enthusiasm and rigor on June 15th. Everyone, please watch out for Miss Joan Ternio. She will be presenting on June 15th. Thank you very much, everyone. Until next time in our,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye.